So this is just an update on the World Central Kitchen Convoy. And what I'm about to read to you is so scandalous and unbelievable. To call it half of an apology would be a true understatement. So let me show you this fake apology from the Israelis and the supposed measures that they have taken. Okay? This is, first of all, a headline from the Times of Israel. They say that 2 senior officers will be fired from the Israeli army for involvement in the deadly World Central Kitchen strike on Gaza aid convoy. Again, just to be clear, this convoy we're talking about, it was 7 foreign aid workers in Gaza. The Israelis hit the first car. Then the people in the first car got out and they sat in a second car. The Israelis then hit the second car with the drone, and then they got out the second car, took the wounded and put them in the third car, and then the Israelis hit the third car and killed all of them. I mean, to call this an accident is an insult to the people they killed and to our intelligence. So this is basically 2 Israelis falling on their swords with some fake nonsense punishment. I mean, a real punishment. When you murder 7 people, you go to prison. You don't just get fired from your job. What is this? You should be court-martialed for that. This is a war crime. I mean, the lack of seriousness here is so expected and so usual of the Israelis. How could I possibly be surprised? This is Ramesh Rajasingham, he's with OCHA, with the United Nations. Just a brief clip, and then I'll play you the Israeli apology, or so-called apology.
On 1 April, the withdrawal of Israeli forces from the besieged Al-Shifa medical complex in Gaza City revealed a hospital and many buildings in the surrounding residential area almost entirely destroyed. And then, on the same day, we saw 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers killed in multiple Israeli airstrikes on their convoy. These workers had just unloaded more than 100 tons of much-needed life-saving and humanitarian supplies from the second World Central Kitchen maritime aid shipment to a warehouse in Deir al-Balah. They had informed the Israeli army of their movements. We extend our deepest condolences to the families and friends of these courageous, selfless people who were there to help their fellow human beings in their time of need. Sadly, we cannot say that this tragic attack was an isolated incident in this conflict. They joined more than 220 of our humanitarian colleagues who have been killed, 179 of them UN personnel.
I mean, forgive me, you heard the figure and how outrageous that is. I find it disgusting that all of these governments, my government included, suddenly care that 7 aid workers were killed in Gaza when they didn't care, and they actually helped to murder not just these 7, but the over 200 workers, aid workers and healthcare workers that he just mentioned. And a good chunk of them, 179, were working with the UN. I mean, we've never seen anything like this.
Including many along with their families. I echo the Secretary General's.
It's truly sickening. You know, is it because they're Westerners? Is that the reason? They have the right passport, a piece of paper that makes you more valuable as a human being. You know, I mean, I'm just shocked. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. The Polish government, they then summoned the Israeli ambassador in Poland, and he apologized to them, which I find funny because before they summoned him, why didn't he apologize then? You know, I find this ridiculous and very, very lackluster and limp and vile. And I'll show you something else. This is the Israeli so-called apology, or one of them, in the UN. First, the Palestinian ambassador speaks, and then the Israeli. Listen.
Harm or shield those committing atrocities. They must be held accountable, or these crimes will continue. Faced with such outrage for its attack on foreign nationals from the World Central Kitchen, Israel took its first measures, dismissing 2 senior officers and reprimanding 3 others. That is the punishment for the commission of war crimes? That is outrageous.
We express our deepest condolences, and our hearts go out to the families, their countries, and the World Central Kitchen. This was a tragic mistake. Israel never targets civilians deliberately. Never. Let alone...
Yeah, and I'm JFK. Yeah, it's true. I'm actually John F. Kennedy. Did you know that? This guy is so ridiculous. I'm shocked he didn't show up with a rock like last time, a literal rock. This is a Hamas terror weapon. I'm expecting him to get up and say that the World Kitchen is a Hamas terror organization.
Aid workers carrying out crucial work.
Yeah. You know, it's crucial work. They're feeding the people that we're trying to starve and kill. We consider this crucial. Why would we possibly murder them? Our interests have no conflict or unalignment whatsoever.
Israel holds the critical support of aid workers in the highest regard, and we will continue to coordinate with them and secure them in their missions.
We've also...
I might as well have played you something from the Looney Tunes. Really. So now the Americans are finally, in quotation marks, moving their asses and telling the Israelis off, right? They're giving them a walloping, they're giving them a mouthful, and they're now telling them, you better clean up your act or we'll condition support. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. If that's true, then I have London Bridge to sell you for £5 available now. I mean, you really think the Americans give a crap? They are complicit hand in hand. The United States is, you could say this sentence and it would just be equally as true. The United States drone strike 3 aid workers in Gaza. It's true. What is the difference between Israel and the United States? People call it the 51st state for a reason. So I'll play you another one of his speeches. Actually, I was about to move on to Kirby, but I found this one as well. Look, this is from yesterday as well.
Friends, Israel expresses sorrow, deep sorrow over the tragic deaths of World Central Kitchen employees.
A bit more energy. When he was in the UN, he sounded a bit limp, right? Like a bored child in a classroom. We have apologies. Nice, we have some energy now.
Yesterday in Gaza, we never target civilians deliberately, let alone aid workers.
Yeah. Again, I'm Marilyn Monroe.
Workers carrying out crucial work. This incident is being thoroughly investigated. But we all must remember, for Israel, every...
I love the but. I love the but. We have the right to kill whoever we want.
Israel, every loss of life is a tragedy.
Oh yeah,
Yet
sure.
for Hamas, every civilian death is a strategy. Hamas exploits civilians.
I literally read an investigation to you about a killer robot that is called Lavender that is used by the Israelis to target people who are not in Hamas and in their homes with their families. How dare you? How dare you, you pathetic goon?
Hamas exploits civilian death so that the world will pressure Israel and prevent us.
What do you mean exploit? What does Hamas have to do with anything? We can see, yes, you should be pressured. You should be pressured, obviously, when you're committing genocide.
From exercising our right to self-defense.
I told you it's coming.
And only Hamas is responsible for every casualty. And if the world doesn't hold Hamas accountable, it gives terrorists immunity and will incentivize terrorists to use civilians as human shields.
Wow. Yeah. So I told you it was coming. There's always a but with the Israelis. We apologize, but Israel has the right to self-defense. Yeah, okay. We know the script. Here's Kirby.
Of civilian humanitarian workers yesterday from the World Central Kitchen, which has been relentless in working to get food to those who are hungry in Gaza and quite frankly around the world. We send our deepest condolences to their families and loved ones. We've seen the comments from Prime Minister Netanyahu and from the Israeli Defense Forces about their commitment to conduct an investigation. As we understand it, a preliminary investigation
again, he reads like a bored child, and the idea that the Israelis will investigate themselves. You can't trust the Israelis to investigate themselves, just like you can't trust the police to investigate themselves for corruption. This is ridiculous. How can you utter such a sentence? It's a war crime. The photos are out there. We know what happened. The Israelis have admitted to it. It's a war crime. Now, you should be delegating this to the UN, but as usual, the UN is not allowed to actually function because of the Americans and the Israelis doing their best to sabotage it.
Investigation has been completed today and presented to the Army Chief of Staff, and we'll obviously look to see what they discover in this preliminary one. But we expect a broader investigation to be conducted and to be done so in a swift and comprehensive manner.
Yeah, sure.
We hope that those findings will be made public and that there is appropriate accountability held. But
we hope. So this is the United States pressuring them. You know, it's like a parent who's telling a child, you know, I hope you don't break the kitchen sink again, or the china, but go ahead and watch television. I hope you won't do it. Come on, go be wild. Go do your thing.
I'm sorry. More than 200 aid workers have been killed in this conflict, making it one of the worst for aid workers in recent history. This incident is emblematic of a larger problem and evidence of why distribution of aid in Gaza has been so challenging. But beyond the strike, what is clear is that the IDF must do much more to improve deconfliction processes.
He's really struggling with this one, huh? You ever been in a class and then there's someone giving a presentation and you can tell they just hate everything about it? So I told you that it's going to be scandalous, but you haven't even heard half of it. You haven't even heard the half of it. Look at this. Look at this, honestly. This is from the Israeli investigation, right? And someone kindly translated the Hebrew into English. Okay, let's look what they say. So the Israelis admit that the vehicles were marked. Oh, thank you. Yes, they are marked. We can see that. But they say that it was nighttime. It was nighttime, and that they did not see the stickers. Well, am I hallucinating? Are they actually saying that? Nighttime. I'm very sorry to say, but this doesn't exactly look like nighttime, does it? Does that look like nighttime to you? I can't believe that they're actually saying this. They struck them during the day. And on top of that, all of this money, all of this tech, all of this gear that the Americans give the Israelis, and you're telling me that they can't see at night. How are you bombing people at night then in Gaza? How are you running nighttime operations if you can't see? I've never heard such a... Every plane from, a fighter jet, drone from the last decades is equipped with infrared. They can easily see at night. This is such a disgusting lie. So you're telling me that they couldn't see the sticker, but they were able to put a giant hole on the hood of the car 3 times, 3 different cars, but they couldn't see the sticker. Well, if you can't see the sticker, why the fuck are you trying to murder 7 people? I mean, I can't believe this, really. I can't believe this nonsense. They didn't see the stickers. They say they admit that the convoy was cleared for traveling by all military authorities. Yes. But that this information was not conveyed to regimental headquarters. According to the Israelis, the 3 vehicles were supposed to turn right at one junction, but for some reason turned left. They strayed 100, 200 meters from their approved course and were attacked. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know that, taking a wrong turn warrants a death sentence under the Israeli judicial system, or should I say extrajudicial system, because it's done. I mean, I can't believe this. They took a wrong turn, so you get drone strike 3 times because you took a wrong turn. That's amazing, really. It's amazing. So the regiment did not seek authorization from the division, which is higher up the ladder, and they attacked the vehicles one by one, assuming they were attacking Hamas operatives. That's it. Yeah, when you see a car in Gaza, it's obviously Hamas, especially if they turn left instead of right. Everyone knows this. That's the tell. When the car turns left, it's Hamas. I'm telling you, I speak Arabic. I know. I don't know what to say, guys. Please tell me I'm hallucinating. I can't believe I'm reading this nonsense. This is the excuse they came up with. It would have been better to say that the people were drunk or drugged than this. They were kidnapped by aliens, drugged, they came back and they just accidentally fired at it 3 times, than to write this drivel. What does that say about the Israeli quote-unquote rules of engagement, which we know are to just shoot anything that moves? How moral, how humanitarian and civilized of this fighting force, how brave and gallant. You know, just kill anything that moves. Voila. So this is the summary of the murder of 7 aid workers. The world only gave a shit because they happened to be British and Australian and American and Canadian and Polish. If they had the wrong papers and colors on their little book, then you know, a different ID or citizenship, then no one would have cared. Even if you have the blue helmet, you're UN, they will still kill you. So, you know, they should consider themselves very lucky that people actually care enough to do what? To call on Israel to investigate itself. And now Israel investigates itself and finds that they took a wrong turn, and, you know, the IDF with all these billions that they get from the Americans, they can't see at night. These poor people, they need glasses. Shall we all, you know, pitch in and donate some glasses and infrared equipment to them? Maybe they can see at night. They'll kill less people. I don't know.